Princess Witch woke up the next morning after she had saved the Princess Witch of the West in her castle and had saved it from a tangly, viney, thorny, overgrown brush that had invaded the castle. She ran down the stairs, and again, Princess Witch of the West and the King and Queen Witch of the West were all sitting at the breakfast table, waiting for Princess Witch of the East, our Princess Witch, to come down. They all started breakfast together. "Good morning, Princess Witch. Good morning, Princess Witch," both of them said together. They were becoming pretty close with all of these adventures. And Princess Witch of the West and King and Queen Witch of the West all thanked Princess Witch for all their hard work and helping them save the day. With that being said, King Witch of the West said, "We're going to have to start fixing up that wall that the viney creature had taken down." And Princess Witch of the East, our Princess Witch, said, "Of course, I can help out with that." And Queen Witch said, "Well, you're going to need a strong breakfast first, so make sure you eat up." So they did. Princess Witch of the West and Princess Witch of the East all ate breakfast and got really full so that they could have lots of energy in order to help fix the wall of the castle that the viney creature had torn down. They stepped outside after breakfast, with Atlas following along behind them. "What are we going to do today, Princess?" "We got to help Princess Witch of the West rebuild the castle wall." Princess Witch of the West said, "Oh yes, that would be very fun. I think we can build it stronger than ever." Well, they got out in the courtyard and they looked up into the sky. It looked like a cloudy day. But nonetheless, they went out and started using magic to stack the blocks that had fallen down, and Atlas used a magic potion to seal them back together. Stack, 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 seal, seal, seal. Stack, 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 seal, seal, seal. So, slowly but surely, they had rebuilt the wall, even stronger than before, because Atlas's magic potion powers had helped create a strong barrier to support the wall with magic. "Now nobody can ever break through this wall again. My magic is so strong." "Okay, that's why you could take down the dragon and the thorny monster by yourself," Princess Witch of the West joked. Ha 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 ha. They all had a great laugh, and everybody was having a great time. Off in the distance, they could hear some rolling thunder. Princess Witch of the West said, "We better get inside. I think it's going to be raining soon. Looks like we won't be able to do much today." As they were walking back from the courtyard and back into the castle, they gave each other a high five for a job well done. As they were walking, Atlas said, "Hey, princesses, what do you think is going on? You said yesterday that you hadn't seen a dragon in years. When was the last time you seen a thorny viney monster like that?" Princess Witch of the West said, "Well, I've never seen anything quite like that before. I'm not sure where all these crazy creatures are coming from." And Princess Witch of the East said, "Yeah, this is very strange. Something is definitely afoot. This is just odd. Maybe we should go down into the archive and start looking things up." Princess Witch of the West said, "That's a great idea. Maybe we should." So they told King and Queen Witch of the West that they were going to go down into the library in the basement of their witch's castle and go down and look through the archives to see if they could figure out what the series of events that have occurred mean. They looked and looked. They went down into the basement. They grabbed some candles and They took them down with them so they could see. It was all dusty and spiderwebby down there. Princess Witch of the East, our Princess Witch, said, I don't think anybody's been down here in a long time. Princess Witch of the West said, No, I don't think so. I don't really have much of a need to go down in a creepy, dark place like this. So Atlas said, It's not that creepy. And he threw a magic fireball that went around the room and lit up all the candles that were hanging on the wall. And all of a sudden they could see everything. There were books and books and books some more, lining the whole basement of the castle. So they looked through a bunch of books. They couldn't really find much. They looked through books about magical beasts. They looked through magical plant books, magical botany books, and they found some of the creatures that looked the same, but nothing about them said that they should appear together, especially not attack a witch's castle. That was just odd. As our Princess Witch was looking through books, she noticed in the corner of the basement that there were a little bit of water leaking. She thought that was strange. What is going on? She said, Hey, Princess Witch of the West, what's going on? There's water leaking down here. Well, it is a basement. Maybe it's just got a leak. So they kept looking and kept looking. All of a sudden, Princess Witch of the West said, I think I found something. It's in this book. But as soon as she said that, one of the stones in the basement gave way and water began flooding in. There was water spilling all through the library. Quickly, Princess Witch said, We need to use our magic to block off this geyser that's forming. So they used their magic wands together and they created a magic seal spell. They replaced the block that had exploded out from the water pressure. Thump. And Atlas used one of his magic spells like he had when he rebuilt the wall and sealed up the wall. Whoa, they said. There's a lot of water coming from somewhere. We're not sure where. And they said, we better quickly seal the whole basement. They used all their magic. They were running out of magic, but Atlas helped them out, and they finished up sealing the basement so it wouldn't flood. As soon as they did that, they took their book and ran upstairs. And then they saw it. They looked outside out the window, and there was a huge storm going on. Thunderbolts and lightning. Flash. Flash. Whoa, this is the craziest storm I've ever seen, Princess Witch of the West said. Princess Witch of the East said, our Princess Witch said, I don't think we have storms as strong as yours. Princess Witch of the West said, I've never seen a storm like this. We don't have strong storms like this. She ran out to the back. She looked out the back side of the castle. Now, the Princess Witch of the West castle was right along the sea where our Princess Witch and Atlas had crash landed and swam ashore. Then they saw it. Huge waves were crashing into the side of the castle now. I don't know if our castle can hold up. All of a sudden, King and Queen Witch of the West said, we need to get out there and protect the castle from these giant waves. Atlas said, I can fix it. I can seal up the castle. And King Witch of the West said, no, there is no time. We need to block the waves themselves, or the whole castle's going to be crumbling down. They ran outside, all of them. They started using magic force fields with their wands. But the waves were crashing hard against their force field. Princess Witch of the East, our Princess Witch, said, I have a plan. All of a sudden, she took off running. She sprinted right towards the waves. No, Princess Witch of the East, what are you doing? They all cried. Even Atlas didn't know what she was up to. He stood back behind the force field, but just as the giant wave was about to crash into Princess Witch of the East, our Princess Witch, she turned into a mermaid. She shot right through the wave. She swam and swam. She was looking all over to see what they could do to stop the waves from crashing. She was getting thrown about all underwater. The waves were crashing all around her. She wasn't that good at being a mermaid yet. She had only become a mermaid a handful of times. The waves were even too strong for her. She was going all over. She couldn't see. All of a sudden, something grabbed her tail. She screamed. But it was just another mermaid. They had come. Princess Witch, we are delighted to see you once again. We have come far because there was a disturbance in the middle of the sea. Quickly, we must swim. There. So, they swam, and in the middle of the sea, a giant opening had formed where there was looked like an earthquake. It was a giant tsunami that was actually hitting the castle. Oh my goodness! So the mermaid said, Princess, we need to work together to seal this hole that the earthquake has made. Quickly! So they all used their magic power as much as they could, and they started closing the gap. It was getting closer and closer. The force of the waves were decreasing. Through the water's vibrations, she could hear, Help! Help! We can't hold the waves much longer! Princess Witch, come back! That was Atlas. She could hear him yelling. They probably didn't know what she was up to, but she couldn't stop now. She had to help the mermaids close the giant chasm that had formed under the ocean at the floor of the sea. Blah, blah, blah. They were using as much power as they could. Finally, it sealed. The waves stopped crashing, and the sea returned to a calmness. Everything was peaceful. The mermaids all gave out a large cheer. Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Princess Witch have saved the day! The princess said, Hey guys, I really need to go check on my friends. I appreciate all your help. We saved the day, but I need to make sure they're all okay. And the mermaids said, No, thank you, Princess Witch. Without your extra magical ability, we would have never got these tectonic plates back together. So they said, In return, we will come with you, and we will help in any way possible. So they all swam back towards the castle. Princess Witch came up from under the water. Atlas and Princess Witch of the West and the King and Queen Witch of the West were all laying on the ground exhausted. Help us, Princess Witch. We've used as much magic power as we can. Our power and life force is beginning to fade. Oh no. They're exhausted, she thought. What can I do? The mermaid said, We can help. We will give them vitality, and we will bring their energy back. Quickly, give them this conch shell. It is full of a magic potion that will bring back their health. So she grabbed the conch shell and she tipped it into Atlas's mouth, and all of a sudden he stirred up and he said, I feel like a spring chicken. I'm back. Thanks, Princess Witch. We gotta get this into the other guys. So one by one, they grabbed Princess Witch of the West and the King and Queen Witch of the West and gave them a drink from the magical conch shell. And just like Atlas, they popped right back up and they were good as new. And they said, "Thanks so much. Whoa, you're a mermaid? How cool." And Atlas said, "Yeah, she does that." And she thanked the mermaids once again, and she bid them farewell and said, "Thank you so much, and it's always great to see you guys." She became a witch again, and they swam off into the sunset, for the clouds and the storm had passed. So they all walked back in, and they had a great dinner, and again the princesses had saved the day and saved their the witch kingdom of the West. And Princess Witch said, "I have to go to bed. I am so tired." So she ate up real quick, and her and Atlas went up to their room and cuddled up together, stayed nice and warm, and fell asleep. The end.